The dude in the kitchen blessed it for me. So speaking of melodrama, I want to take us on a melodrama this morning. Oh, we're going to get all biblical today. But we are going to go there in terms of metaphor and fairy tale and metaphysics and look for the deeper truths. So, metaphysically, when we look at this book that the entire world is familiar with, the Bible, we see two sides of it. We see the Old Testament and we see the New Testament. Now, speaking of Carolyn McEwen, I learned this from her. I looked up the word testament in the dictionary. And the definition of testament is something that serves as evidence of the facts of an event. Think of a testimonial. The facts of an event. In other words, a story, a narrative. And the Old Testament had a particular kind of narrative. And if you put that narrative together in metaphysical terms, the founder of our movement, Ernest Holmes, called it race consciousness. Now, the word race, when he used it back then, was more of a human race kind of word. Now it has other connotations. And so, in order to paint a broader picture that really touches our soul, I think we should call it the geezer consciousness. Okay? And what I mean by the geezer consciousness is it represents an older way of being. It represents the way we did things yesterday. And I want you to imagine the emperor of the geezer consciousness, the emperor of the Old Testament, as he comes to that place within your Bible, if you have one, and you notice somewhere in the middle, actually the Old Testament's a little heavier than the New Testament, somewhere a little bit past the middle, there is that demarcation where it moves from the Old Testament to the New Testament. And the emperor of the geezer consciousness makes his way, and I'm saying his purposely, his way to that demarcation. Why do I say his? Because the geezer consciousness is very patriarchal. It is very heavy. It's very dark. It's very fire and brimstone. It's like very laying cities to waste and war and shepherds killing giants and pillars of salt and floods and all that great summer box office movie tradition. It's like the Godfather 9. It's all there. It's a blood sport, right? It's filled with all that. And the geezer of the emperor of the geezer consciousness, he loves that. He's proud of that. He loves the God of that, you know. He loves the thunder and lightning and fire and brimstone. So he comes to that place in the book itself, and he gazes upon a valley that starts to make him feel strange. And I think the best way we can put it was, I feel like there's something different in the force. I don't know if I like this. I seem to be repelled by this valley that's breaking forth before me. I just don't know if I can go on. So he grabs his advisors and brings them around. So what's going on? I'm not feeling really good about this valley before me. I feel like we all want to run back into where we came from. But I'm hoping that the geezer consciousness will continue and this valley will be a place for me. And they said, well, sir, I think that we can find someone to help you out with that. Some people call him the wise one. Some people call him the Magi. Okay, bring him here. And so they bring the little guy with his camel, rides up, and he's got two cronies, elves with him, right? Okay, you guys hold it. I've got this. I'll talk to the emperor of the geezer. And so he says, "What do you think that I'm feeling about this valley?" And he says, Well, sire, I believe that it's going to be a different type of consciousness, more so than the geezer consciousness. What are you talking about? That's blasphemy. Should I have you stoned and beheaded? There you go again. You just can't let go of that, can you? Right? Okay. No, this is going to be a little bit different. Well, where do you come from? Why should I listen to you? Well, some people call me the soul. The soul, what is that? Is that something on the bottom of my foot? No, this is a larger definition of the soul. So I want you to think about a special chamber somewhere where if you go into that chamber, there's all these ancient texts and bits and pieces of the past and all the gained wisdoms. There's a little bit of prophecy mixed in there. I want you to imagine it like this ancient library that's filled with all these wonders of the higher ideas. That's where I come from. And I believe that what you're looking at in this valley is something called the Christ consciousness. What are you talking about, the Christ consciousness? What do you know of that? Well, actually, in order for me to find out, because I wasn't sure myself, I went into the portion of the library that was entitled Feminine Spirituality. Oh my God, are you a hippie? No, that comes much later. Summer of Love, Grateful Dead, marijuana. Okay, that's a different story, all right? Now, let's come into the Christ, and it's very much a feminine spirituality. And he said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, it seems to me that there's this idea that there are better ways of living that well up within people. There is love and compassion and creativity and healing. That doesn't seem familiar to me. Yes, because you're from the geezer consciousness. This is a new consciousness. This is a new consciousness about creation. It's a new consciousness about going forward. It's a new consciousness that breaks away from, dare I say, the patriarchy and maybe gets into the matriarchy. I'm serious. I want to get you stoned right now. No, you're going back, sir. We have to go forward, okay? So what do you think? What do you imagine about this? Well, what I imagine is that, and this is what I read in the text that I got from the feminine portion of the library, is that this is a birthing process. It comes from each and every one of us. Oh my God, maternity, you've got to be kidding. Well, sir, I read a book on being a midwife. That's it. Off with his head. I can't hear this stuff. No, just hang in here, sir. Just hang in. Okay. So basically, if I have these ideas that come forward through me as an individual, and during turbulent times, which if you look down in that valley close enough, you'll notice that turbulent times have come over. That there's this couple, this man and this woman who have come together, and this is the story that unfolds. This is the melodrama that unfolds, and they're meek and they're mild and they're not hierarchy at all. They're not kings, they're not queens, they're not monarchs. They're ordinary people, but they have within them the Christ consciousness, because everyone has the Christ consciousness. Are you saying that we move beyond the caste system? Yes. Once again, back in the geezer time. Okay, we're moving forward into another time where everybody is honored, everybody has power, everyone is wealthy in their own way, everyone has title, the title of being a child of spirit, a child of God. And so they come together, and there's something, they want to find a place to be able to birth their consciousness. They want to find a place where they can bring forward whatever their heart desire is. And they come into a place, and some of your consciousness, the geezer consciousness, has hung over a little bit, and so not everybody wants them to come into their place. With good reason. Well, again, I'm asking you to open your mind a little bit here, okay? And so they come into a place where they are accepted, and they have the room to bring this forward. And so there are people there that want to crush this movement. Yeah, I'm one of them. I want to crush this movement. But no matter how much you want to crush this movement, sir, you can't. Why is that? Because of this. A star? Yes, a star. Where did you get that? Did you go in the heavens? No, it's within me. Once again, it's the star is within you. Have you been smoking that marijuana? No, that's later on, sir. Okay? So we have the star, and the star represents the light that is within all of us. Have you ever seen Dancing with the Stars, sir? Okay. Have you ever seen A Star is Born? What this basically says is that we all have the star within us. And this star enables us to survive without being crushed. In other words, you may be able to crush the physical body, but you can't crush the star. You can't crush the manifestation. You can't crush what is being birthed and brought forward. in terms of love, compassion, hope, and joy, no matter what we do. Because, you see, the Christ is not new, sir. The Christ is where you came from as well. I never saw any evidence of the Christ. What about the Psalms? I don't know where that came from. I think I was gone one day and they snuck that one in on me. Well, look at the Psalms, which tells us is that the Christ was there. But unfortunately, the geezer consciousness is also coming over to this valley. And so in this valley, there will be competition between the geezer consciousness and the Christ consciousness. And because we have the star, the Christ consciousness, unfortunately, will never be able to take hold completely again, or I should say, fortunately. So what does this take? What emperor do they have out there to save off the geezer consciousness? They have their soul, which is where I come from. Because no matter what happens to the physical, no matter what happens to the material, the soul moves on. And sir, I am from the soul. I am the ancient wisdom. I am the lifetimes. I am the manifestations. I am the levels of consciousness that bring forward the Christ consciousness and the star. And so, this is the great potentiality and possibility of the ages that comes through every one of us every single day, no matter who we are. Nobody gets left behind. Everybody works it out. That is the promise of the Magi, the soul, and the star. Merry Christmas, you guys. The star is on behalf of the props department. All right. Okay. So now I would like to invite our musical guest up again. You want to come on up? Thank you.